I wouldn't exactly place this episode on my favorite list, but I do give it note for actually being an episode that is all about Scrooge. I mean, the Ducklings are here for a little while, but this is mostly an episode about Scrooge being reunited with the woman that always flirted with him in the old series. Yes, Glittering Goldie is back, or is her name Goldie O'Swites? Well, tell you the truth, I always forget, but I always knew her as Glittering Goldie. Scrooge old girlfriend as well as his equal in adventure, but also basically his Catwoman to her Batman. Is that how you say that? Probably not, but well, I'll do Goldie O'Glint. Maybe that's her name. Although I always knew her as Glittering Goldie. Either way, this episode is about that, and but it does have some good jokes. Hopefully, I'll remember them though as I go through this episode. Either way, this episode shows them being in a banquet that Flintheart Glomgold is hosting, mostly to jeer it in Scrooge's face as he has dug up a woolly mammoth skeleton. And it's revealed that Scrooge always steals free food from buffets because, well, that's basically how he survived in the old days. It's during here that he's reunited with his ex, and that's actually one of the funnier jokes. As soon as he sees her, he gets terrified. As the kids always wonder if that's an old enemy. Scrooge just says, "Worse, it's my ex." So either way, it turned out the Glomgold took Goldie to this place in order to, well, make Scrooge jealous. Of course, it is revealed that that is not the case. I mean, the fact that she is here because Glomgold took her here. No, she is here for some else reason. As Scrooge and Goldie dance, they reminisce about old time. And here is actually some little note, although I don't know if that is actually good. It's also one of the better jokes of this season. Again, we do not know how old Scrooge is. In fact, there's another joke in this episode. Actually, where who is it? Is it Dewey or is it Huey who said this? Basically, they're saying, "Wait, how old are you?" And that's the problem. How old is Scrooge? But it does seem to imply that Scrooge's aging has been halted. Well, not halted, at least a little bit lowered, because apparently when they dance, uh, Scrooge asks Goldie that she looks younger than before, and she mentions an offhand comment that she found a fountain of youth, while Scrooge mentioned he was stuck in a timeless demon dimension of Demi-Organa that apparently Goldie caused, that she shows Eye of Demi-Gorgana makes you immune to burns. So either way, when they leave that place, Scrooge tells the Ducklings that during the Klondike Gold Rush, which is another implying on how old is Scrooge. Isn't that gold rush about 1890 or something? Who knows? And who cares, right? Either way, he teamed up with Goldie during that moment, but she tried to betray him by taking the map, but during a scuffle, the map was torn and they were attacked by the same woolly mammoth that whose skeleton Flintheart Glomgold dug up. And he had the map all along. That was the real reason why Goldie was there. And she gets to the Scrooge mansion where she has, for some reason, actually successfully tied up both Beakley and Webbigale, which is quite a feat, mind you, because so far no one has actually been able to defeat both Webby and Beakley. So either way, it turns out that Scrooge always kept the other half of his map in his top hat. So despite fighting a little bit, they decides to team up for old times as they go to Klondike. And here is where the episode only take a turn to the Scrooge as they keep on talking on how little they trust each other and stab each other there. There's another funny joke here is the fact that Scrooge ran into a bear, but he actually managed to tame the bear because he speaks bear. You know that bear. I don't think it is, but the fact that Scrooge is the one who tames a bear seems to be a little note of one of Goldie's old appearances in the old cartoons. You remember in that show, or at least in that episode, Goldie actually had a pet bear, I think. Is this meant to be a note to that? Or just a coincidence? Well, either it's pretty funny to see a Scrooge talking bear, and when he says how he managed to do this, he says, "I'm Scrooge McDuck," and to be honest, that's all he needs to say. So either way, they get to the frozen glacier where, because in the flashback, Scrooge mentioned that when they got away from the mammoth, both he and Goldie wind up in a frozen, well, not a frozen lake, ended up in water where they got frozen, apparently for 5 years. Maybe that's another reason why Scrooge's age has been halted. He spent 5 years on ice. It really is difficult to find out exactly how old he is. And they mentioned that maybe the reason why the ice melted was not because of their hatred for each other, that they grew closer to each other. And during that moment, they actually managed to find the golden falls that they have been searching through thanks to the map. It's during this time that Flintheart appears and reveals that Goldie has been working for him, or at least saying that all this was his plan. Of course, that's not exactly what it seems like, as both Goldie and Scrooge have a duel very reminiscent of a Batman and Catwoman fight, with a lot of dancing and flirting. So Flintheart tries to kill them both, but only manages to trap Goldie in a golden statue as he then captures Scrooge and tie him to a tower where he's then gonna pour him into gold. So while Flintheart has his extremely hammy, over the top villainous dialogues, it's revealed that the statue that was a Goldie in gold does not contain Goldie, because the amulet, the Eye of Demi Morgana that she showed in the beginning of the episode, is revealed as actually it's revealed in the beginning, but now it's a reminder to us that it makes you immune to burns. So she couldn't be trapped by golden burns, even if she wanted to. So she managed to steal the gold through a boat she has, as she both sail away. But Scrooge is surprisingly not mad, because after all, that's just the kind of woman Scrooge like. The one who is his equal, or maybe even superior in him in all the things. So he returns to his mansion a little bit poorer, but as he returns he finds a broken amulet of one of the adventures of that Goldie and he had, including a note saying, "If you ever need new gold, you know where to find me." A true old flame, indeed. I mean, again, I wouldn't exactly rate this episode higher than most I have, but I still maybe give it a 7 out of 10 at least. I mean, it wasn't a bad. It had some good jokes, but mostly the best jokes of this episode were, to me, the fact that we just get even more confused on exactly how old is Scrooge to begin with. And even this episode, for me at least, seems to imply that maybe Scrooge is semi-immortal. And when I say semi-immortal, it's clear he has aged, but it seems that he somewhat age has stopped. If he has been trapped in a glacier for 5 years and then stuck in a timeless demon realm, then who knows? But that bear scene, yeah, that made me laugh. I'll tell you, that made me laugh. Also, Goldie is in this episode voiced by none other than Allison Janney, a famous American actress, and actually one of the few. No, no, were sorry, I was gonna say not one of the few, but what I meant to say is that she's a famous actress, been in many movies. So she's one of the more movie actors on this voice acting roles, and I wonder if this is one of her first. Either way, it felt a little bit odd connection to to Scrooge's voice actor, but it works either way. So yeah, that's basically it. 7 out of 10 for me. But you give me your thoughts if you have any.